We want to move right into our second panel. If I could get your attention, please. We'll have our coffee break right after this panel, and then we can proceed. So in our first panel, we're very interested in the issues of the Latino elderly,
Right.
and particularly programs such as SNAP. In our second panel, we want to talk about some of the issues surrounding Latino children. One in four children in this country are Latinos, and 1 in 3 are living in poverty. So this issue of hunger among the Latino children is really critical, and of course it impacts on nutrition. I'd like to introduce our panel, and we'll follow the same format. Far to my left is the Senior Director of Advocacy and Legislative Affairs for First Focus, an organization that represents children's initiatives on Capitol Hill. Maritza Kelly was an associate at the Ibarra Strategy Group, and she had many years' experience in the Texas State Capitol. Maritza Kelly from First Focus. Next to Maritza, good friend of mine, someone who's had an impressive and diverse career in the public sector, with a range of positions at the House of Representatives, the White House, and in the NEA. She's here as the chair of the National Latino Children's Institute, Rita Jaramillo. And of course, no panel on this issue would be complete without Lourdes Diaz, who's the Vice President of Diversity Relations at one of our partners, Sodexo, where she works on establishing strategic partnerships with diverse organizations. And Sodexo, as well as the Sodexo Foundation, has taken the lead in the fight against hunger. So we look forward to hearing about that. And we're very fortunate to have as our moderator the Chief of Staff for the Special Nutrition Program at the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service, where he helps manage 14 of the nation's nutrition assistance programs, including school meals, WIC that we discussed, summer food service programs, and other emerging food assistance programs. Duke Storn. Big round of applause for our second panel. And Duke, once again, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I want to bring the HAMBRE back to the panels here. So, and Alfredo, I'd like to thank you and Latino Magazine for your leadership. You know, this dialogue, both today and more broadly in the country, doesn't happen without leadership. And I know that Latino Magazine speaks to thought leaders, and I appreciate you convening so many wonderful thought leaders and advocates from communities and from national organizations today. So this is great, and I'm part of such a distinguished panel, so thank you, ladies. I really like to just frame the issue to begin. Alfredo mentioned some of the statistics. Food insecurity is really lack of access, reliable access to food, and we measure that, as Alfredo said earlier today, each year at USDA. 26%, between 26 and 32%, depending upon whose statistics you use, of Latino children are food insecure. That's unconscionable, no matter how you look at it. The other side of that coin is that 38% of Latino children are obese and even more overweight. Sometimes in our dialogue and understanding, we don't see obesity and poverty and food insecurity as linked, but in fact they are. They're three faces of the same terrible problem. Yep. And so today our panel is going to talk about what we can do, what they are doing in their organizations, and then more broadly what we can all do to address the challenges and the problems of hunger and obesity and nutrition, the problems that come from hunger. At USDA, we run nutrition assistance programs. We just talked about SNAP for a while. We also run a number of child nutrition programs, the school lunch program, the breakfast program, summer feeding programs, the child and adult care food program, which reimburses child care providers and adult daycare providers in schools for providing meals after school and in evenings and in daycare settings and adult daycare settings. We run the WIC program. The good news about these programs is that the benefits are 100% federally funded. So a lot of times when we try to solve problems, we ask, well, how are we going to pay for them? And what are the solutions? Well, a lot of the answers to those questions have already come, and they're in the form of these nutrition assistance programs. I think the challenge in many respects is how do we bring those programs to those who need them? So we talked a lot about SNAP access. We could talk a lot about the access problems we have for these other child nutrition programs. How do we make sure that schools serving low-income Latinos are participating in breakfast, lunch, after-school meals, after-school snacks, right? All those programs are available. How do we make sure that WIC is brought to everyone that needs it? We have great participation in the WIC program among Latinos, but it could be better, right? We don't have 100% participation by those who are eligible. So we bring these programs, we bring this money to the table, but to solve the problem, so much more innovation and education and outreach has to happen. There's structural issues because poverty is the root cause of hunger, and we need to address that. So I'm going to sort of start by turning it over to our panel and really asking you to frame what is it that your organization is doing to address hunger and improve nutrition, and we'll just kind of go left to right, so I'll start with Lourdes.
Buenos días, good morning everyone.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. First of all, I want to thank Alfredo again, and I want to echo what you had said. It isn't without leadership that this forum can take place. Sodexo is a partner of No Más Hambre since last year, its first year, and there's so much work to be done. So Alfredo, thank you, because these are the platforms that allows us to come together to have the conversation. Sodexo being a leader of not only solution integrated services, but a food management facilities company worldwide, takes this issue to heart. We are fighting hunger everywhere where we are at in 82 countries in the world. As it pertains to North America, our foundation focuses only on the fight against hunger, with even a deeper focus on the 17 million children that go to bed hungry. So out of about 41 million people in US that are on the poverty level, according to the census, and to your point, depending upon whose number we're looking at, it's pretty clear that about 17 million of that 41 million are the children that the Sodexo Foundation focuses by partnering with non-for-profit organizations that many of you are here, in ensuring that every single day all of our food gets to the children. We do that in many, many ways, but certainly we are a leader in that space, and that is a commitment that we have multi-year. It's not a strategy element. It's not something we're doing today and not tomorrow. It is actually part of our DNA and what really makes Sodexo truthfully a fighter about it. I mean, we've got some target goals incremented every 3 years, and really the goal is to have made so much impact between today and 2020 that we will sit back here with Alfredo and we'll really compare the numbers. As it pertains to the strategic partnership and community outreach space that I oversee along with a team, we partner with non-for-profit organizations and our chefs and dietitians. Sodexo is the #1 dietitian employer in the United States besides the federal government. And so we have a pretty large group of chefs and dietitians that are committed to work in about 5 to 8 urban cities with Hispanic communities and provide 3-hour workshops with parents and students, since we service hundreds of school districts across the nation. We partner with the non-for-profit, we partner with the schools, we partner with the community centers, and we provide 3-hour workshops, cooking demonstrations with nutritional components that provides the Hispanic families solutions to fight diabetes, to fight obesity in our children, and we're measuring the successes in order to be able to track how our children can lose weight and how diabetes, trying little by little to control and to prevent the diabetes epidemic. And I'll stop there.
Okay, Rita?
Good morning, and I too want to thank my good friend Alfredo, who always takes on the issues that matter, that reach the masses, and I just thank you, and I love your publication.
Yes.
And to absolutely give it up for him. And to my colleagues on the panel, thank you for everything that you're doing. I am a former USDA employee, and I have great appreciation and respect for all of the work that you all are doing. My good friend Judy Canales is over there doing great work. And to Sodexo is going to be my new best friend, and I'll roll that out in a minute. And of course to Maritza and the work that she's doing at First Focus. I represent this morning the National Latino Children's Institute. I'm chair of the board, and I bring you greetings from our executive director, Josie Garza, who many of you know. We are a 15-year nonprofit organization, and our mission is very simple. It's to focus the nation's attention on the unique needs and challenges of Latino children. Duke, I think you did a great job this morning of, describing the obesity and the hunger issue and the root cause. It is poverty. Our public schools right now are 25% Latino. In some states, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, California, our kids already represent more than 50% of the public school student population. That number is unbelievable. And our schools, I just completed a term at the National Education Association, and our schools are really struggling to provide the resources for the many kids in our schools right now. There's so many unanswered questions, but what we used to say at the NEA is that it's hard to teach a hungry child. Those kids come in because of this over representation of poverty in those communities. It's a huge issue. The organization that I'm representing this morning, the National Latino Children's Institute, has developed a wonderful program, Salsa, Sabor y Salud. And it is a healthy lifestyle program that incorporates nutrition and exercise. And what is unique and special about this program is that it was developed in collaboration with Kraft Foods 10 years ago. That's why you're my new best friend, Lourdes, because this is a wonderful opportunity for Sodexo and LCI to partner. That's why these kinds of forums are so wonderful. But it is a program that was developed in conjunction with the community, and we did extensive focus groups that engaged immigrant-born and native-born Latinos, that engaged Latinos across communities. So we did a focus group in Florida, in New York, in San Antonio, and in the Midwest, because we are such a diverse community, and what works in one community doesn't necessarily work in another. The curriculum is Spanish only or bilingual, depending on the group that we're